Welcome to the Sykes & Company PA video blog featuring Scotty Sykes.
What is so important about payroll costs?
Payroll in a pharmacy is very important. Outside of your cost of goods sold, your payroll is the second biggest expense. So getting your hours right, determining your payroll costs, making sure that payroll cost is tied in each month with your financial statements. Payroll cost is so expensive, so you want to make sure you have the right hours, the right mix of staff in there. You know, you're not running two pharmacists when you only need one, because trimming payroll is pretty much your fastest way of getting some good bottom line net income.
What are some of the big mistakes you see when someone buys a pharmacy in terms of payroll?
Sometimes when we see folks buy a pharmacy, they'll go in and just stick with the current payroll situation they had, same staff members and everything for the first few months, and say, oh, well, we'll reevaluate this in a few months. Well, that just doesn't work, because you get down to 3 months and you're like, you've got so much other stuff going on. You put that to the back burner. The most successful pharmacies understand that very first and foremost, you rehire every single person on that payroll list that you're buying, and hire and fire as you see fit. You know, it's critical that you start fresh. You're the new sheriff in town. You're the new boss. So you need to come in and really set your staff, set expectations, and then move forward from there.
If I'm looking at my payroll costs and they're really high, how do I know how to bring them down?
You know, like I said, reviewing your hours, seeing how much revenue you're bringing in on a Sunday from 1 to 6 or whatever you're open, and then how much your payroll costs are. So you may have to crunch some numbers there, but you really have to determine what's going on in your pharmacy, and then you're aiming for gross revenue to be under 10%. The average we see is about 11%, but the most successful pharmacies are hands down under 10%, and they're rocking and rolling. So that's what you want to aim for. When you've got under 10%, you should know that you got a good mix. You're doing something right in the staff department. So that's your goal. If it's 12% or higher, you know, you got some serious problems. You have to start with payroll to fix those problems.
Is that something that you frequently help clients with, understanding how to bring their payroll down, looking at the crunching and looking at those numbers?
Oh, absolutely. The first thing we do when we bring on a new client is we get them all caught up to date, et cetera. And a lot of them don't know why they're struggling or whatnot. And then once we get everything reconciled, caught up to date, they're going from no accounting system to an accounting system with integrity. We know the numbers are solid. And I've seen some where payroll is at 16, 17% of gross revenue, and their margins are at 22%. So that's a lot of money they're paying on payroll. So right then and there, the very first step is you have to cut payroll. You have to figure something out, because you're not going to be in business much longer if you don't.
Are there payroll-specific problems in startup pharmacies that you see?
Just making sure that you're putting in that sweat equity and putting in that time and effort, and you're not saying, oh, I bought this pharmacy, I'm going to let other people run it, I'm just going to sit in the back office and collect a check. Making sure you're out there and growing that pharmacy and not spending your money on having somebody else do that.
Thank you for joining us today. If you want more information or have any questions, please feel free to contact Scotty directly.